Giants in today's game.
Thanks, Tony. The Eagles looking for revenge following their loss to the Giants in late September. The Giants tying an NFL record with 12 sacks, including 6 by Osi Umenyiora. It's the Eagles and the Giants coming up on Fox. "36-degree afternoon with a chance of showers here in Philadelphia. The Eagles have won the toss. Lawrence Tynes getting set to kick off for the Giants, who have won 8 of their last 10 games. They've won 5 straight on the road. J.R. Reed, who spent part of training camp with the Giants, back deep to receive for the Eagles. Week 14 of the NFL. We are underway in Philadelphia. Reed from the 8 with Reno Mahe leading the way. Reed spinning across the 30, takes it out to the 32-yard line. A 24-yard return. Kevin Dockery made the tackle as Donovan McNabb leads the Eagles out, making his return. Missed the last 2 games with a right ankle and a right thumb injury. McNabb sacked 12 times against the Giants in late September, but the Eagles have their left tackle, William Thomas, back for this game.
And you heard Tony talk about the middle of the field being in a state of disarray because of injuries. Now remember, this Eagles pass offense, that is their focal point. The area that they like to attack is the area that has been impacted by injuries for this Giant defense.
Brian Westbrook split to the right. On 1st and 10, Westbrook comes in motion and takes the handoff from McNabb. He was lined up as a wide receiver, takes the handoff, and on the first play from scrimmage, Brian Westbrook goes over 1,000 yards for the season as he gains 16.
Well, we've seen this play set up over the last few weeks. Brian Westbrook lined up wide outside. We've seen this motion. We've seen them use this action, whether they're going to throw the ball or actually hand the ball off to the running back who's deep, Correll Buckhalter. This time, they give it to Brian Westbrook on the end around.
Westbrook gains 16 yards and Eagles first down. 1st and 10 from the 48. McNabb over the middle, complete to Reggie Brown. And he is close to a first down. Michael Johnson making his 3rd start at safety. The rookie out of Arizona made the tackle.
The last time these two teams played, there was a lot of trouble protecting the passer. I want you to watch the pickup on the inside. Thomas Tapeh, the fullback. Watch the job he does. That's difficult. Now, the guard, Todd Harriman, has got to get back onto his guy. That's something that they have to address. If that guy's coming through, pick one guy, stay with him. You can't turn guys free. They've got to get that coordination down a little better.
Eagles gain 25 yards in their first 2 plays. On 2nd and 1, Westbrook has another first down. Brings it to the Giants 36 before he was tackled by Dockery.
This guy is just so difficult to defend, and you look at some of the numbers that he's put up this season. 1st in total yards. He's a dual threat. He leads running backs in receiving yards. 2nd among running backs in touchdowns. And I think one of the big reasons they struggled with pass protection, last time Brian Westbrook wasn't in the offense. He wasn't on the field that day. He is a great pass protector as a running back.
Empty backfield on 1st down. McNabb to the outside. 2nd catch for Reggie Brown. And he's forced out of bounds at the 26. And is slow to get up after picking up another Eagles first down. And Darrell, you mentioned Westbrook did not play in that game at the Meadowlands on September 30th. The Eagles were without 5 key starters in that game, 3 on the offensive side, 2 on defense.
I know that Winston Justice took a lot of the blame for the performance that night when they gave up 12 sacks, but it wasn't all on Winston. There were breakdowns across the board, protection with the line, the coordination with running backs, and then Donovan McNabb. Even Donovan held the ball a little long on some of those and was really responsible for those sacks.
12 in all, 8 in the second half from the 26. Westbrook gets away from Michael Strahan inside the 20. Knocked out of bounds by the combination of Barry Cofield and Reggie Torborg at the Giants' 18-yard line.
That's just great Brian Westbrook right there. I mean, Michael Strahan's got him in the backfield. comes clean, gets there, you're looking at 2nd and 14. Instead, you've got 2nd and 2.
Mike does a really good job of realizing what Jon Runyan's going to do, come off the ball. He goes and takes an inside move. He has such a good key. I don't know what it is yet on Jon Runyan on the pass and run and the depth of the back. And he's going to go and determine very early whether it's pass or run. You're going to see Michael Strahan two different scenarios.
We'll keep an eye on that Strahan-Runyan matchup. McNabb dumps it off. Westbrook inside the 10, the 5, touchdown.
That is the potential of this team this season. But because of injuries and a lot of different things that have transpired during the year, they have not been able to do that on a consistent basis. But that is the potential of this Eagles offense when they've got everybody on the field, when they are functioning at a high rate of efficiency. The screen, there's nobody better in the NFL at the screen. Thomas Tape has got Kavika Mitchell downfield in pass coverage, and they slip Westbrook out on the screen. He has no idea Westbrook is running behind him.
Donovan McNabb looked great on that play also. The best I've seen him so far scrambling outside to get outside to go and make that play downfield.
The Eagles make it look easy. 6 plays, 68 yards. Westbrook with 48 yards on the drive and a touchdown. Eagles lead 7-0. Giants have allowed a touchdown on the opening drive for the 3rd consecutive week. 6 plays, 68 yards. Westbrook into the end zone.
Talked about Philadelphia digging themselves into a hole. The Giants have done the same thing the last few weeks.
Reuben Troves on the return. Took it at the 16 and brings it out to the 32. 16-yard return by Drones.
Great play call with the defense the Giants had up last time. I want you to watch these two guys who are going to come on the pressure. Thomas Tape releases outside. He gets Kavika Mitchell to cover him, turn his back. Michael Johnson gets lost in the shuffle. He was the one responsible for Brian Westbrook. That's like stealing right there.
That was nice. Right here, Michael Strahan getting upfield. Donovan McNabb with the way he gets out to the outside. I mean, I haven't seen this explosive with that ankle injury. That 2 weeks off really helped him, Moose.
Now the Giants start from their own 32. Brandon Jacobs in the backfield. He's missed the last 2 games. And this is Jacobs on first down. Gain 6 out to the 38. Trent Cole made the tackle. So Jacobs returns. Giants lost Derek Ward for the season last week, but happy to have Jacobs back.
Oh, he's very important to this Giant offense, getting that run going. And the other thing is going to be protection. Those guys in the middle have to do a good job at not allowing Philadelphia to get pressure into Eli Manning's face. The book on Eli Manning, push the pocket, get him to throw off his back foot as he drifts away.
Shockey in the slot on 2nd and 5. Jacobs, stutter step, look to cut it back inside and loses a yard. Mike Patterson's had a terrific season. Leads all defensive tackles in the NFL in tackles.
Yeah, he's a guy that you're not going to hear a lot about, but there's some serious consideration that he should be a Pro Bowler this year. He's had a great statistical year. He's been the one constant in that defensive front 7 for the Philadelphia Eagles. Quietly had a very, very good season.
3rd down and 6. Giants spread the field. Toomer split to the left. Manning out of the shotgun. Giants have to get to the 42. Manning takes it down.
Looking for.
Back at the 28-yard line. Trent Cole now with 10.5 sacks this season.
The function of coverage and your pressure on the quarterback coming in. Trent Cole is going to get your sack, number 58, coming from the right side. But Brian Dawkins stepped down into the hole. Brian Dawkins is playing the half safety. He gets down into that area where the deep in route is going to come. He takes away the primary route for Eli Manning.
With that pressure up the middle, too, it's tough for Eli to go and stand up. They got to get better protection up in front of him so he's able to go and move away from those sacks right there.
So, Tony, the Giants go 3 and out. Former Eagle Jeff Feagles, who did a terrific job keeping the ball out of the hands of Devin Hester last Sunday. And the Eagles will start from their own 26. They lead by 7. Philadelphia Eagles scored on their opening drive. Giants went 3 and out on theirs. So now the Eagles go back to work from their own 26. Darryl Donovan McNabb playing in his first December game the last 3 seasons.
That's unbelievable.
Out with injuries the last 2 Decembers. Off the play fake. Reggie Brown out to the 38-yard line. Well, the Eagles' opening drive today, much different, Darryl, from their opening drives the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I just don't know if they're able to overcome the adversity at this stage of the season right now. It's not the same team from a confidence standpoint to have that swagger. In the last 2 weeks, I mean, just horrendous starts. And now we'll get an idea to see what this team can do when they get a little bit of confidence. Let's see if they can build on the positives they had from the first drive this week.
Of course, A.J. Feely at quarterback the last 2. Westbrook bottled up. He loses 3 yards. Michael Johnson along with Kavika Mitchell getting into the Eagles' backfield.
We talked about the Giants bringing pressure on pass, but here they do a great job with the run. You got to make the tackle, because if you don't tackle Brian Westbrook on that play and he gets past the line of scrimmage, it's wide open. He's going to be hitting his head on the goalpost.
Yeah, L.J. Smith coming across in motion. He's responsible for Michael Johnson, but what he did is he took his motion too far outside. He missed that block by getting to a landmark that was outside his man. You saw him slip a little bit there. He's got to understand that, hey, 43 is my guy. I want to be inside out on him. When I finish my motion, put myself in a position to make a play.
Westbrook went in motion. Umenyiora jumped early.
Should have blew the whistle a little earlier on that one.
Yeah, he was unabated, unless they're saying that somebody on the offense. I mean, I don't know why they didn't get that whistle and shut that play down quicker.
Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
And when the offense jumps, that play is over, so they would have come in and shut that down. But in that situation, watch Osi Umenyiora. I mean, he's clean. You can't get much cleaner than that one.
He's used to seeing those clean pass rushes against the Eagles.
Yeah, this is just like last time we played. I'm free to the quarterback.
No wonder he had 6 in the last meeting. 3rd down and 1 following the penalty. And a nice job by Kavika Mitchell forcing Thomas to pay back.
He's happy about his biceps, I think, there.
A little work in the gym. The Eagles have to be able to convert that. Last week against Seattle, they got into a 3rd and 1 through a deep pass down the sideline that didn't work out. Now they're running the ball inside to Thomas to pay. Okay, who's missing from both of those plays? Brian Westbrook. I mean, I know we don't want to use him all the time, but
some confusion as the Eagles offense lingered on the field. The punt unit indecisive, and Andy Reid forced to take a timeout. Following the timeout, Andy Reid decides to leave his offense on the field in the first quarter. 4th and inches. Eagles from their own 36.
I don't agree with it. You came out and had a great drive. You have an opportunity to control the momentum in the first quarter. This gives everything back to the Giants if you miss this.
Yeah, I don't get this either at all.
Quarterback sneak.
There is a lot to lose and very little to gain on that decision by Andy Reid. Now, last week against Seattle, at the end of the half, when he went for it on 4th and goal, I agreed with that. The half is going to end. You've got an opportunity to make a statement to the Seahawks that this is how we're playing all day. That was a very high-risk, low-reward decision by Andy Reid.
Well, Donovan got stopped there in the middle, in the beginning, and then I think it was Sean Andrews goes and grabs him and pulls him forward. You see, he gets stopped. Then his guard starts pulling him, and they start pushing him, and that's the only reason why he got there. It's L.J. Smith.
Got a quarterback with still coming off an ACL. He's missed 2 weeks with a bad ankle.
His helmet got knocked off.
Asking him to move the pile. And then he got whacked in the head.
McNabb shaken up, and the Eagles forced to use a 2nd timeout.
On that last play, we saw Donovan McNabb helmet come off, and Sam Madison comes in and sort of rips his helmet right off. You can see Donovan right there. I don't know if he's screaming or he got poked in the eye or whatever, but surprised the officials didn't catch that one.
You would never try something like that, would you, Tony?
Never, and get caught.
From the 37, up the middle, big hole for Westbrook into Giants territory. And it's Michael Johnson who finally makes the tackle after a 14-yard pickup.
What a great cutback.
Yeah, but I think the Giants were expecting something else. Watch Antonio Pierce. He's going to see something. He gives all his guys the go, go, go signal. He's got both his hands waving in the air. They turn everybody loose. They were expecting pass.
Yeah, Reggie Torbor has to stay on the backside on that, look for that cutback. They bring pressure. We talked about it earlier. They better go and tackle Bryant in the backfield.
Correll Buckhalter, gain of 3 down to the 46 as we say hello for the first time this afternoon to Curt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Well, hello, Kenny. Hey, I guess Mike Martz got tired of hearing it. They have 5 plays on the opening drive and ran it 4 times, did Detroit. T.J. Duckett takes it in from 32 yards out, and they lead the Cowboys 7-0. Back to Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
Well, he did the same thing against the Giants. I think he ran the first 5 plays of the game when we had the Giants-Lions game, and then ended up throwing 45 passes and 11 rushes. So not always the same as it looks on that opening drive for the Lions.
Lions have lost 4 in a row. The right guard, Shawn Andrews, remains down.
Testing out that knee, which is no good. No good. Shawn Andrews has become one of the best young offensive linemen in the league, and you know, we talked about the injuries and chemistry and the things that happened with the team. When Jon Runyan was out of the lineup, you know, I think it impacted Shawn Andrews' play also. There he is right there, 73, getting rolled back by that pile. But you know, it's kind of a comfort zone for Shawn Andrews to be lined up next to Jon Runyan, and he goes he's a big man and he goes awkwardly back. So
Andrews started the Pro Bowl last season. After the game 2 weeks ago against New England, Bill Belichick said that Andrews is the best guard the Patriots have faced this season,
and that's going up against Richard Seymour, Vince Wilfork. Those are, you know, in my opinion, what makes New England really good defensively are their 2 inside tackles, and that's who Shawn Andrews would have been going against the entire game.
Andrews replaced by Nick Cole. 2nd and 6 from the 46. Westbrook into the backfield by Justin Tuck.
That was a nice tackle by Justin Tuck, because Brian Westbrook is got some area to make a move, but Justin Tuck just comes up and takes his shot at him. You know, Brian Westbrook is very shifty. He's going to try and make some moves. He sheds his block. He comes in and takes his shot, gets him to the ground.
Penetration is one thing that he does not like, Brian Westbrook. He can't go and see the field, just like you mentioned, Moose. He doesn't have that ability to cut back. If you have to force him into making an early decision, it takes his whole game away.
3 wide receivers, Lewis in motion. 3rd down and 7. McNabb rolling right, and he throws it away.
Donovan looks pretty good there, Moose. I don't know. He didn't look this good last time we had him. You know, them 2 weeks off really made that ankle feel a lot better, looks like to me.
Well, you know, Brian Westbrook mentioned that. You know, we asked him. We saw a comment earlier this week where you talked about you hope Donovan's back to the point where his health allows him to be a difference maker in the offense. And you know, well, how was he before the injury? He said, well, just the 2 weeks off, you know, no practice. You know, you get your legs back, you get him back underneath you. He's still coming off that knee. That's going to help not only his ankle, but also that knee recovery. So I agree, Tony. I think he's looked the best he's looked all season right now.
Doesn't look good for Shawn Andrews going into the locker room right now. Early get that knee checked out.
End over end punt by Rocca. Fair catch called for by McQuarters. So the Giants go back on offense, trailing 7-0. Back in Philadelphia, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. Eagles scored on their opening drive. They lead the Giants 7-0. Giants have run only 3 offensive plays, went 3 and out on their first possession. From the 11, Brandon Jacobs looks to cut to the outside, and it's Trent Cole once again off to a great start today, who takes Jacobs down in the backfield loss of 4.
He's been off to a great start. We saw him with the sack earlier. Now going up against Michael Matthews, the tight end. That's a tough challenge for Michael Matthews, but he's a good young player for the New York Giants. But right now, Sheldon Brown told us the last time that they played New York set the tempo. They were more physical earlier in the game. They took it to them. Not the case this afternoon. The Eagles have come out onto this field today and are setting the tempo in this game.
Second down and 13. Manning to the air for the first time, and the pass is behind the intended receiver, Plaxico Burress.
Talked to Jim Johnson before the game, too, and he said on Eli Manning, we want to bring as much pressure in the front of his face as possible. And you saw that on the last play. They brought a bunch of guys up. That's where they're going to be pressuring him.
The reason I think you do that, too, Tony, is because that was the same scenario we saw against Minnesota when Minnesota brought a lot of pressure 2 weeks ago. Eli Manning and his receivers did not seem like they were on the same page.
Third down at 13. Manning, street pass, Jacobs. And Brandon Jacobs is stopped shy of the 20. And the Giants will punt for the second time. Quinton Michael making the tackle.
What a good job by Quinton Michael, because this is a well-designed play. They've got a blitz coming off the edge. They've got Brian Dawkins in man coverage to that side. They slip Brandon Jacobs, 6'4", 265, out into the flat on a screen. He's got a couple of linemen in front of him, and Quinton Michael comes up and disrupts that play all by himself.
So Jeff Eagles back to punt for the second time. Giants have gone 3 and out on both of their possessions. Again angled toward the sidelines, out of bounds. Setting up terrific field position for the Eagles, who already lead 7-0. Congratulations to Tim Tebow, the Heisman Trophy winner, first freshman or sophomore to ever win the Heisman.
51 touchdowns in a season. That's crazy. I'm still not there yet. I'm still working to get to 51.
Play action on first down. McNabb can't find anyone downfield. Finally gets rid of it. And the pass is caught by Thomas Tapeh. So the Eagles make something out of nothing. And Tapeh gains 4 yards.
Well, great coverage by the Giants defense. They're really making Donovan McNabb work. Sam Madison on Kevin Curtis on the outside, turns it over to Michael Johnson. L.J. Smith, the guy we thought that was going to use the middle of the field, there's Antonio Pierce's ability to cover the tight end, but Donovan is still maneuvering, creating, making things happen. But how about the offensive line? How disciplined are they? Nobody went downfield on that. You would have expected a lineman to be downfield.
Some trickery from the Eagles. Greg Lewis looking to throw. He fires downfield, intended for L.J. Smith, broken up by Michael Johnson.
You will never get a wide receiver to make a good decision on a reverse pass because L.J. Smith is completely covered.
Never, almost.
Greg Lewis has to just pull this one down. All right, I've been waiting for this all week. I want a touchdown throw. Here comes my shot, but the Giants played it really, really well.
They throw it no matter what.
Oh, it's going downfield.
Triple coverage. 3 guys there, and he's throwing that ball. He's looking for a quarterback position, I think, in the league.
Yeah, but the coach walks up to you. What were you thinking on that throw? Hey, I'm a wide receiver. I don't know all
you have
that
a great
stuff.
excuse. Everything goes bad.
First pass attempt of Lewis's career. Now McNabb. That took a hit. And the Eagles, once again, will punt it away.
He took a big hit on that play, too, getting that ball off.
Yeah, not a great decision either, because there's no way he's going to be able to step into this throw. I mean, he's lucky that this one wasn't served up to somebody in the Giants secondary.
And OCU, when you are a man, does he have a motor? Michael McCreary is the only other guy I see, and I played with him in Baltimore, that has a motor like this. This guy goes 5 seconds past the whistle. Clean player, but he never stops. Unbelievable player, OCU.
Fair catch called for at the 15 by R.W. McQuarters. Well, the Giants have lost only once on the road this season. Week 1 in Dallas. They are 5-1 away from home. Goal line stand in Washington. Big interception in the fourth quarter in Detroit. And last week, 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns as the Giants beat the Bears in come-from-behind fashion.
Well, that's good news for the Giants because when they get into the playoffs, obviously they're going to be playing on the road. They're not going to be a division winner. They're not going to catch the Dallas Cowboys. So their success on the road is going to work well for them into the playoff situations.
Giants have not won 6 straight road games since the early 60s.
There's that pressure again right over the center.
From the 15, McNabb under pressure from Brian Dawkins. Threw it away.
It's almost a smoke screen there, Moose. They're bringing the guys, lining them up in the middle, and then the press is really coming from the outside. I don't know if Eli's realizing this. You see these guys right here in the middle.
They draw the attention.
Pressure, I mean, the outside guys are doing a great job. It's almost like, well, there it is. The outside guys are looking inside. They don't know where it's coming from. They're missing that step going back. That's why he's getting pressure from the outside. Nice job by the Eagles. Jim Johnson, the coordinator.
Jacobs in the backfield. 2 tight ends. Manning hands it off. And it's Dawkins again with a burst into the Giants' backfield to take down Brandon Jacobs.
You know, it was interesting last week when we were doing the Eagles-Seahawks games. We talked about the impact of not having Brian Dawkins or Lito Shepherd in the lineup. And those are their playmakers. But when we talked to Amani Toomer, he said, well, no, they blitzed just as much last time we played them. Now, Brian and Lito were in the lineup, but we still got a lot of pressure. Amani's thought process was it's just not as successful. I mean, Brian Dawkins is a great blitzer. He has a great feel for getting down into the offensive and defensive line area, down in that box, and finding a lane through to make a play.
3rd down and 15, a pump fake by Manning. Now he throws, and the catch is made for a first down by Sonoris Moss, and a flag comes in as well off the late hit by Lito Shepherd.
Well, there's some protection across the board for another player besides a quarterback. Usually you can't drive the quarterback into the ground. They're going to call Lito Shepherd for slamming Sonoris Moss to the ground.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness defense, number 26. Slamming the ball carrier to the ground unnecessarily. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Really unusual that the fans here in Philadelphia don't agree with the officials, guys.
Yeah, you're going to watch Lito's. He's going to slip right at the top. That's why they're able to get the ball to Sonoris Moss. Maybe that's just a little bit of frustration having slipped. It'd be interesting to see. Keep that rolling so we can see if he was actually out of bounds. I don't know if his feet were out of bounds. He was still in play.
Before that play, the Giants had negative -1 yard of offense. They gained 17 on the pass to Moss, 15 more on the penalty. And on first down, Jacobs tackled by Patterson and Cole, as Takeo Spikes does not want to let Madison Hitchcock up off the turf.
That last penalty ended up being the biggest play for the New York Giants. They're waiting on Philadelphia to help them out. And with Brandon Jacobs back, you know, that's when this offense functions at its optimum efficiency, is when you can get Brandon Jacobs established, or whether it was Derek Ward last week against Chicago, that fourth quarter, a lot of that comeback was the run game and some play action.
Ooh, 2nd and 10. Penalty marker, big hit by Sheldon Brown on Amani Toomer.
Offside. Defense number 58 in the neutral zone to snap. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
That's on Trent Cole.
Great job by the Philadelphia Eagles defense. You really have a hard time of seeing who's coming and when they're coming. I mean, you see the offsides right there, but the linebackers come in, the corners are coming. Every time it's somebody new. It's keeping Eli Manning guessing, and that's what causes problems.
Following the penalty, 2nd and 5 from the 47. Manning with time, going deep for Burris. Sheldon Brown on the coverage.
He just doesn't have the ability to separate right now because of that injury that he's been battling all year. Sheldon Brown plays it well. It's a double move. He doesn't really affect him at all. He's got his head turned back for the ball. He's running stride for stride. Plaxico is going to lobby for something right there, but there's just as much contact with Plaxico and his left arm as there is from Sheldon Brown. Nice no call by the official on the outside, but I really think that Plaxico has really been struggling for the last few weeks, and it's been amazing to watch him try and battle through this injury all season long, but I think it's finally starting to catch up to him and affect his performance.
Now Manning on 3rd and 5, and the catch is made for a first down by Amani Toomer as the first quarter comes to an end. An NFC East battle in Philadelphia. Eagles leading 7-0. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after this. We begin the second quarter here in Philadelphia. Eagles scored on the game's opening drive. A look at the Giants' first quarter numbers. Giants with a 1st and 10 from the Eagles' 45-yard line. Two tight ends, the fullback Hitchcock split to the left. Off the fake to Jacobs. Manning dumps it off to Jacobs, and he's immediately tackled by Omar Gaither and Chris Gokong. So, Darryl, the Giants come in with a record of 8-4, an outside chance to clinch a playoff berth this weekend with a win and a lot of help. They will not catch the Cowboys, but they look today to open up some space over the other wild card contenders.
The big thing they have to understand right now, they're playing for the #1 wild card spot. You're still going to have to go on the road. You're going to play a division winner, but you're not going to get a home playoff game. They played well on the road this season, but the big thing with me is consistency. I mean, they're such an up-and-down team. We saw a glaring example of that last week against Chicago, where for 3 quarters it was just, oh my gosh, what are these guys doing? But with the game on the line, you know, boom, 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 here they go. They have that ability to turn it on when they have to, but they've got to get a little bit more consistent with their play throughout the course of the game.
3rd down and 1 coming up for the Giants, who would clinch a playoff berth this weekend with a victory and losses by these 5 teams. Saints will play tomorrow night.
Arizona Cardinals controlling their destiny at this point. Congratulations to Ken Whisenhunt and his staff.
First down and more. Reuben Drones on 3rd and 1 inside the 5. Tackled by Brian Dawkins at the 1.
You get into those 3rd and short situations, you break that initial wave. A lot of times there's nobody there. A great push by the right side. Holy cow, they just caved in the left side of Philadelphia's defense. Look at the hole that Reuben Drones has to go through. I love these types of plays because Brian Dawkins could have shut it down, and that could have been a long touchdown run by Reuben Drones. A great hustle effort by Brian Dawkins. Let's see if that holds the Giants to just 3 points.
Drones picked up 35 on the play. And here's Drones, and he is stopped on 1st and goal by Kimo von Oelhoffen, the 14-year veteran who won a Super Bowl with the Steelers a couple of years back and was in the Eagles lineup last week for the first time in 9 games.
Had an opportunity to make a big play early in that game, jumping on a fumble, and missed out on that. But this is his specialty. He's down and dirty on the inside goal line, short yardage, obvious running downs. That's where Kimo's going to get your best value.
Giants send in an extra blocker at Guy Wimper. Penalty flags as Drones is tackled back at the 6 on 2nd and goal, but the play blown dead.
Looks like it's going to be on Philadelphia. Good discipline by that Giants offensive line group. They did not flinch.
Offside. Defense. Defensive end in the neutral zone at the snap. Penalize half the distance to the goal. Repeat 2nd down.
We've done quite a few Giant games this year, and the one constant in those games, a lot of defensive linemen offsides. Eli Manning, very good at using that hard count.
hard to pull those reins back when Jim Johnson calls that all-out blitz. Those guys are like sharks smelling blood, man.
Giants have 3 tight ends in the game. Thrown to the backfield behind Hedgecock. Manning to the end zone. A diving attempt is made by Jeremy Shockey. So now the Giants facing 3rd and goal.
Jeremy Shockey, little cell right there. Crosses Quentin Michael's face. He's open. Eli Manning's got pressure in his face. Affects the throw a little bit.
Why have we not seen Brandon Jacobs these last 3 plays?
I think we'll see him.
Ruben Drones still on the field. Here's Drones. And he is stopped. Omar Gaither coming up, making the first contact.
Well, the big thing is Ruben Drones has been your short yardage goal line back during the course of the year, so he's taken a lot of those situations. Tom Coughlin is sending on Lawrence Tynes to kick the field goal, but he was under a lot of criticism last week in Chicago. Some people saying, well, you scored too early. You let Chicago have an opportunity with over a minute left to drive down the field and win that game at the end. It is not easy to score inside the 5-yard line. I know it's a short distance, but everything gets compacted down there. Now you have an example of why, when Ruben Drones broke off tackle for the touchdown, that's the best thing that can happen.
High snap. And Tynes connects on the 19-yard field goal. So the Giants held to 3. They almost scored 7, but Brian Dawkins made a touchdown-saving tackle after the 35-yard run by Drones. Giants on the scoreboard. They drove 84 yards. A couple of big plays. 17-yard reception by Moss. 35-yard run by Drones. And then Lawrence Tynes with a 19-yard field goal. Tynes kicking off to Reed. And J.R. Reed takes it out across the 25-yard line. David Tyree made the tackle on special teams. 23-yard return. Jeremy Shockey with a chance in the end zone. 7-3 Eagles. Early second quarter here in Philadelphia. Eagles back on offense, leading 7-3. Sean Andrews back in the game at right guard. Injured his right knee in the first quarter. 4th catch of the day for Reggie Brown, out of bounds. Forced out by Reggie Torborn after a gain of 9.
Getting a little feisty out there, Tony.
Yeah, they're having some comments back and forth, and I don't think they're wishing each other happy holidays.
No.
These teams know each other very well as the Eagles go to the hurry-up.
Trying to. Everybody but Kevin Curtis got the message. What was that again? Kind of taking the rhythm out of the hurry-up.
2nd and 1. And Westbrook is cut down in the backfield by Barry Cofield. So 3rd and 2. Coming up for the Eagles. McNabb 6 of 8, 58 yards and a touchdown. Westbrook with 59 total yards. Giants and Eagles played 3 times last year, including the wild card game here in Philadelphia, won by the Eagles 23-20. This is Donovan McNabb's 13th career start against the Giants. McNabb on 3rd and 2. Penalty flag as the catch is made for a first down by Jason Avant.
Illegal motion. Offense number 81 moving forward at the snap. A 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
Jason Avant, they broke the huddle. He's right here. They're little split T. But when they broke the huddle, he was trying to hide back there. So you've got a special play designed for a 3rd and short situation. We're going to sneak you in the backfield, get you out into the flat real quick, and you lose your concentration and you have a penalty.
So it forces the Eagles back 5 yards into a 3rd down and 7. Three receivers set. Eagles have to get to the 36. High throw. Gathered in by Westbrook. And he is stopped a yard shy. Sam Madison made the tackle. As we check in once again with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Guys, Cowboys found themselves in a 10-0 hole against Detroit. How do you erase that? Just pitch it to Marion Barber. He takes it in for a 20-yard score, and the Cowboys are right back in it in the second quarter, 10-7. Back to Kenny Moose and Goose.
He seems to jumpstart their offense from time to time. You know, I think Julius Jones has really kind of risen his level of play after that first month of September, whether it's him hearing things about Marion Barber and why isn't he getting the ball more, but Marion Barber just gives them that little extra pep in their step.
Cowboys at 11-1. Terrific kick by Rocca. Brought back to the 18 by McQuarters. A 59-yard punt. 12 on the return. Coming up next week on Fox, Week 15 of the NFL. Many of you will see the Packers and the Rams, or the Falcons and the Bucks. And in Game 2, it will be the Eagles and the Cowboys. Next Sunday, starting at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox. Giants trailing 7-3, start from their own 18-yard line. Two tight ends set. Jacobs in the backfield. Manning with time, fires, and the catch is made at the 28-yard line by Amani Toomer.
Man, just watching from the end zone, Plexico Burris in man coverage. Eli took a look, but wide open, got his hand up, get roll that, guys. Man-to-man coverage down the field, that's where you want to be. I mean, Eli missed him on that one.
But it was nice on the other side, though, Tony. It was a well-timed route. Good catch and throw between Eli and Amani.
Toomer picked up a first down. From the 28. Manning could not find anyone downfield. He takes off and he slides. About 2 yards shy of the marker. So Manning gains 8. You know, in the last series we talked about why Jacobs was not in the game, and the Giants primarily have used drones in those short yardage situations near the goal line. But the last 2 years, when Tiki Barber was the Giants' primary back, Jacobs scored most of the touchdowns, 16 his first 2 seasons. Yet now that he's the starter, he is usually not used in those situations. And you wonder if the Giants face another similar spot later on as Jacobs picks up first. We saw drones not able to get in on first and goal, second and goal. Would Tom Coughlin consider using Brandon Jacobs?
I don't know. Maybe it's just a philosophy that Tom Coughlin has. Also, he's coming back off of a hamstring. You get down there, if you have to have a quick burst to the outside, if you got to push the pile. If he can do everything in first and second down infield, he should be fine to do that same thing, goal line short yardage. But maybe it's just what Tom Coughlin believes. As you pointed out, with Tiki Barber doing all the work, Brandon Jacobs became the short yardage goal line back last season.
First and 10, 39-yard line. Here's Jacobs pushing the pile up the middle, out to the 44 before he was brought down by Broderick Bunkley.
I don't know, with the size of Brandon Jacobs, I wouldn't want him being a defender and having to see him in the backfield and have him get the ball. I mean, just a big body, and I think he gets better the more he gets the ball. I think he gets the timing down, he gets rhythm. I don't know why they don't use him more in short yardage, especially on that last goal line series.
Jacobs returning today after missing 2 games. Second down and 5. Play action. Manning slips. Gets back up. He throws. The catch is made. There's also a penalty marker. Burris picks up a first down. Penalty marker in the defensive secondary.
Illegal contact. Defense number 26. Penalties decline. Play results in a first down.
It's a battle of 2 guys that aren't 100% on the outside. Lito Sheppard and Plaxico Burris. Neither guy 100% right now. You'd see the contact beyond the 5 yards by Lito Sheppard on Plaxico Burris.
Bears picked up the first down. Giants declined the penalty. Here's Jacobs. Jacobs inside the 40, down to the 38-yard line. So the Giants moving the football. They drove 84 yards on their last possession. Giants coming off a terrific fourth quarter in Chicago last Sunday. Eli Manning 7 of 9, 95 yards, 2 scoring drives in the fourth.
And they hang in there. They never panic, and I think a lot of it is the personality of the quarterback. I mean, he very rarely is up and down. He's always even keel Eli. I mean, you can't tell whether they're winning, losing, whether he's playing well, playing poorly. And I think the team, kind of plays with that same type of personality.
Manning to Shockey, and Shockey takes it down to the 33, tackled by Spikes and Brown.
And we saw it again at the start of this game. They came out, had a 3-and-out. Philly going right down the field on their opening possession, and nobody never panics. It's just, oh yeah, all right, we went out, we didn't start the game real well, but there's no reason to panic or anything. Philadelphia is playing with a lot of emotion, and the Giants offense just hangs in there, and hey, we'll get it back, we'll do this, we'll do that, we're going to be fine. Now they got to start converting. I mean, the big thing, you get down 1st and goal inside the 2-yard line, the 1.5-yard line, you got to punch those in. That's about the only negative thing they've had up until this point in the game offensively.
3rd down and 2 for the Giants. Manning in trouble. Down he goes. Back at the 39-yard line. 2nd sack of the game for Trent Cole.
Trent Cole sacking everybody out there, yeah. His own players. He got a nice slam right there. See that one, Moose?
Takeo Spikes coming in to give him a high five, and he body slams him. But great move. He got real low on that turn. Got right around David Deal, getting his shoulder, his pad level down, able to turn that corner.
Ah, he wants anybody, baby.
Give me somebody else. Get off me, Takeo.
And now Cole comes back on the field on the punt team. Jeff Eagles from midfield. And a sliding fair catch made at the 17 by Reno Mahe. This Cole, he loves playing against the Giants. 6 sacks in 6 games. Also scored a touchdown on an interception against the Giants last year.
Ah, look at that great picture. Father and son enjoying a little bit of Eagles football right there. That's awesome.
A Brian Westbrook fan. Westbrook scored on the opening possession, but not much for the Eagles since.
No, and that's the maddening thing about this team this year, and we talked about it on their opening drive. That's how good they can look, and since that drive, they haven't come close to looking that efficient.
Worst starting field position of the game for the Eagles from their own 17. Westbrook running right, and he's gained 3. Tackled at the 20-yard line by Osi Umenyiora.
No, really surprising with James Butler out and Jabril Wilson. This Eagles and Donovan really haven't taken advantage of that void we talked about in the open in the middle of the field. Both safeties out. You have 2 rookies back there. You have Antonio Pierce, who's playing okay. He's not playing really great. He has an ankle injury. He might not be 100%. But the Eagles really haven't taken advantage, especially with L.J. Smith and the tight ends, of the middle of the field where we really don't have a lot of guys back there with a lot of knowledge.
2nd down and 7. Play action. McNabb dumps it off to Westbrook. And Westbrook gains 4 out to the 24. Kavika Mitchell makes the tackle. And Tony mentioned the 2 rookies starting at safety. And it's not like these guys were high draft picks. Michael Johnson, a 7th-round pick out of Arizona, and Craig Dahl was not drafted, a free agent out of North Dakota State.
Hey, Moose, when you were with the Cowboys and you knew that a defense had a void or a young guy going, I know you guys would go and attack that situation, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just during the course of the game, if a player went out, whether it was cramps or he had to get his ankle taped, I mean, if we got Michael Irvin one-on-one on the outside with that guy, we knew where the ball was going. So, yeah, you were always trying to find out how good they were going to be there. Not to say that it's a mismatch, but how good are they going to be?
Nice catch by Westbrook. Picks up the 1st down.
And the thing that's puzzling about it, Tony, is this offense is traditionally an offense in the passing game that attacks the middle of the field, between the numbers. You know, very rarely do we see him on the outside. When you have your boots and stuff like that and Donovan's moving, yeah, you get a little perimeter passing. But all in all, this offense is always trying to attack their opponents down the middle of the field.
Sean McDermott, Eagles linebackers coach. Philadelphia offense on the field, leading the Giants 7-3. On first down from the 32, nearly picked off by Sam Madison. Greg Lewis, the intended receiver.
Yeah, he was not expecting that ball coming his way. He and Donovan talking right now as they come back to the huddle before Greg leaves the field.
We've been talking about the Giants and their two rookie safeties. Tony, as a defensive player, if you had a couple of rookies back there on your side, what would you do to protect them?
He'd probably rush the quarterback a lot harder. Make sure he doesn't have time to get that thing out.
Tony having some problems with his technology. We'll check back in with Goose in a moment. As McNabb's pass is broken up by Antonio Pierce. It was intended for the tight end, L.J. Smith.
Well, you don't know if it's the Giants and some adjustments that they've made since that opening drive, or Philadelphia having it happen so easily that they kind of throttle back a little bit. But this offense has not looked like the one we saw go right down the field on the opening drive since that point.
You had a look at Giants defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo a moment ago. Spent the last 8 years on Andy Reid's staff, working under Jim Johnson with the Eagles. Knows this Eagles offense very well. Third down and 10. Eagles have to get to the 42. McNabb escapes. And then he's tackled by Umenyiora at the 34-yard line. And Tom Coughlin on the field to call timeout.
You've got a lot of athletes in that defensive front that the Giants can throw at you. Justin Tuck, 91, Antonio Pierce. They're going to come. Sean Andrews misses Justin Tuck inside again. They're not coordinating between running back and guard on those inside pressures, but you drop O.C. Umenyiora back. You're going to do a fire zone. We're going to bring these people in. We're going to pull O.C. Umenyiora back. And look at the athleticism against Donovan McNabb out in the open field. Great job of not leaving your feet. Donovan's pumping, pumping, pumping. You run and you put your hands up, but you don't leave your feet and allow him to get the yards necessary for the first down. Very athletic by O.C. Umenyiora.
I think Tom Coughlin left his feet to call timeout.
You're going to have to talk to O.C.
So the Giants able to stop the clock with 1:40 remaining. Second quarter. Rocca punting from his own 25. Taken out the 23 by McQuarters. McQuarters still on his feet. Ardonia McQuarters finally tackled at midfield after a 29-yard return. His longest punt return of the season.
Well, this is just about losing contain from this angle right here. Watch all the guys squeeze right there. Jason Avant's in way too far on that side. Now you've got like one guy out there in the end, the lane. It just, when the guy makes his initial move, you still have to respect the outside. You have to have outside leverage. Jason Avant has an opportunity for a tackle, misses it, but the initial wave that came down the field when they saw R.W. McQuarters make his move up into the playing field at first, all of a sudden they started to squeeze and they lost contain.
Stuart Bradley finally made the tackle. Inside handoff to Brandon Jacobs on first down. Jacobs takes it down to the 45. Mike Patterson made the tackle. Giants with 2 timeouts remaining. They trail 7-3. Giants quickly to the line. 2nd and 5. McNabb steps up and throws, and the catch is made for a first down by Burris.
Well, I tell you, he's playing a lot better than I thought he was going to this afternoon, because pregame he did not look good. He was out there in a workout before with no pads on. He left the pregame warm-up early before the rest of the team went in. We've seen him get retaped on the sideline.
Manning over the top to Burris. Plaxico takes it down to the 35 for a gain of 3.
And you can't do that to Plaxico right now. You can't put a ball down where he's got to make a circus catch. You got to get it in his hand so he can run after the catch.
You know, watching the Eagles defense right now. See how far back the linebackers are? They're really not threatening that offensive line of the Giants, so Eli's very comfortable back there, knows he's not going to get the pressure, and makes a great throw. It's when he doesn't know, when the linebackers are up tight and they're dropping out late, that's when he starts guessing, doesn't know if the pressure or where it's coming from. That's when he starts having problems. I'm really surprised Jim Johnson right there doesn't have more guys up tight and make Eli go and not know where everything's coming from, especially the pressure.
Giants now with 1 timeout remaining, 2nd down and 7. With 30 seconds remaining, first half. Manning out of the shotgun. Shockey unable to make the catch.
There's the pressure we were talking about, Mose.
Yep. Had a bunch of it coming off the edge.
Well, coming up, guys, the Visa halftime report with Kurt and Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. They'll have all the scores and highlights on the Fox Sports ticker. We'll bring you up to the second stats. That's coming up on the Visa halftime report. 3rd down and 7. 27 seconds to go. 2nd quarter.
Now those linebackers are up nice and tight right there.
Manning on 3rd down. He throws and the catch is made for a first down by Burris. Out of bounds, stops the clock at the Eagles 16.
Eli does a really nice job of moving away from where the pressure could come from. We showed the linebackers. He gets away from that area and finds Plexico right out there.
That had to be so difficult for Plaxico. Lito Shepherd's uptight, so they're forcing him to come off of press coverage. They're running a speed cutout, so probably the worst combination you could have for the injury that Plaxico Burris has been working through this season on that play, and makes a good catch for first down.
5 catches, 51 yards for Burris here in the first half. From the 16 on first down. Manning fires, and it's knocked down by Jaquay Thomas.
Well, they had 2 red zone turnovers last week. They've had 1 opportunity today with a 1st and goal inside the 2 that they had to settle for a field goal. So the Giants offense in the red zone struggling a little bit over the last few games.
Second and 10 for Eli Manning and the Giants. 16 seconds to play, first half. Manning out of the shotgun. And he throws it out of the end zone. He was under pressure looking for Sonoris Moss.
Well, this is what Brian Dawkins allows you to do when he's in the lineup. When Amani Toomer says that, yeah, they brought pressure, but they weren't as effective with it, Brian Dawkins from the safety position allows you to come up and play coverage on the corner because your pressure's coming from this way. There goes the corner on the blitz. Brian Dawkins can cover Sonoris Moss on the outside. He's got very good cover skills for a safety.
Moss split to the right. Toomer in the slot. Burris split to the left. 3rd down and 10. Manning steps up. He fires. Giants will use their final timeout as the catch is made by Moss at the Eagles 6.
Oh, they got a great spot. They got a great spot. We're sitting at 5 seconds right now. I don't know if it's enough time for the Giants to take 1 shot into the end zone. I see Lawrence Tynes on the sideline.
What would you do here, Darryl? Go for the touchdown or take the field goal?
At 5 seconds, and I know it sounds picky, but believe it or not, 6 or 7 seconds gives you a heck of a lot more of a comfort zone. 5 seconds, anything can go wrong with a quarterback has to hold the ball. I like the decision right here to kick the field goal and get some points. You started this game very poorly. Philadelphia has controlled the line of scrimmage for the majority of this first half. Your offense has kind of come to life. Yeah, we had to settle for a couple of field goals, but we did not play well in that half, and we could only be down 1 point.
And the Giants will get the ball when we start the second half. Tynes from 23. It's good. So Tynes 2 for 2. Eagles scored on the opening drive of the game. Giants with a couple of field goals here in the second quarter. And the Eagles take a 7-6 lead into the locker room at halftime. Terrific opening drive for the Eagles. Brian Westbrook with the game's only touchdown. 35-yard run by Drones. He was tackled by Dawkins on the 1. So at the half, it's the Eagles 7 and the Giants 6.
The Visa Halftime Report is sponsored by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Life takes Visa.
Welcome to the Visa Halftime Report. Kurt Menefee along with Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. And right now, it's the Giants down by just a point against the Eagles.
All right, got a bad thumb, got a bad ankle. Donovan McNabb is back after 2 weeks absent. There it is, play action, roll right. That's actually a bootleg. Drop it off to Brian Westbrook out of the V, touchdown of 18 yards. And it's Philadelphia 7-6 over the visiting New York Giants. This is good stuff right here. There it is, 7-6. Just like I said, folks, that's halftime score.
Good stuff.
John Kitna shot his mouth off. Terrence Newman said, I forgive you. I forgive you. Well, that's cool. I didn't want him to forgive me. I thought it'd be fun. T.J. Duckett, 32-yard, Howie. Touchdown run. Lions ran the football.
Where's he been?
Only 23 yards rushing last week. 32 on that one. Back comes the Cowboys. Marion Barber. 20-yard touchdown run on a little toss to the outside. 10-7 now Lions. Out of the eye. Tight eye right opposite. Eye right opposite. Tight end to the right. Kevin Jones. 2-yard touchdown run. And makes it 20-7. And then Romo, a little toss. That's what you call a wide flare. And I mean a beautiful throw. Nice catch. 8-yard touchdown. Got a ball game. Lions 20-14 over the visiting Cowboys. 29 seconds remaining in the half. All right, Tampa Bay looking to clinch the NFC South title. Ernest Graham. Off tackle, looking to hit somebody, but great offensive line work. No big old hole, 4-yard touchdown. We're tied up 7-all. It is Tampa Bay and Houston. Sage Rosenfels to Kevin Walter, 8-yard strike, and it's the Texans 14-7 over the Buccaneers. Carolina, Jacksonville. David Garrard look left for the blitz. Don't have to worry about being sacked. Come back, hit the slant. Reggie Williams break a tackle. 22-yard touchdown run. Jacksonville on top of Carolina, 10-3. Late in the second quarter. St. Louis, Cincinnati, Carson Palmer, love him. Absolutely love him. Can he chunk it? You bet he can. Hands off, though, to Rudy Johnson. 1-yard touchdown run by the Bengals running back. And it is Cincinnati 10 over the Rams. Nothing. Phillip Rivers, Chargers at Tennessee. Phillip Rivers, the quarterback, set up. Whoa, got hit right on the knee. Ball picked off by Michael Griffin. That led to a Rob Aranis field goal, 3-0 Tennessee. And then Rivers pitches this one to LaDainian Tomlinson, but gets hit by Antoine Odom, has to leave with a knee injury. And it is Tennessee Titans 3-0 over the San Diego Chargers, almost at halftime. Oakland at Green Bay. Brett Favre, how you doing, Brett? Eye right. Hey, y'all hear this stuff I'm giving you? Eye right. Tight eye right. That's pretty stuff. Ryan Grant, 6-yard touchdown run. Packers up 7-0 over the Raiders. And then Will Blackman returns this punt 57 yards for the touchdown. Shane Leckler, the kicker for the Raiders. First time any punts been returned after 573 punts. Amazing.
You realize Ray Guy's never had a punt returned against him in his entire career.
Well, he's retired.
Yeah, so that's pretty good.
It is. No, it's awesome. So he's in the Hall of Fame.
Well, that's a pretty good play by George Wilson, just taking it out of John Beck's hand. And look at this. Nothing good going the way of the Dolphins right now. It's 31-7. Nearly 4 minutes to go in the first half of that one. All right, Jimmy, let's get back. While these two guys figure out their plays, the play of the Giants right now, particularly in the second half. Last week, they were a second-half team. Same story this week against Philly?
Well, they're a second-half team because their quarterback, Eli Manning, is a second-half player. That's when he gets all of his points. And I think he got a couple of things working for him. Reuben Drones running the football. Brandon Jacobs haven't run it very well the first half, but he got to stay with it. Second thing, Plaxico Burress got 4 catches. Eli Manning, they can come back. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, it looked like Philly was going to jump out on the Giants, but as we talked about, they're letting them kind of hang around. And Philly having trouble converting on third down, finishing drives, couple of penalties, 1 for 6 on third down. Donovan looked pretty good. Get outside the pocket on that. That, by the way, was a scramble and not a bootleg on that dump to Westbrook.
Well, he actually faked a reverse, got a little pressure, and moved out. I threw the bootleg in there for our viewers to understand how the ball handling works.
That was right
but if you want to call
eye.
it wasn't a scramble. A scramble is actually when you jump up inside and go back to the outside.
No, a scramble is actually anywhere.
Oh, you want to call it anywhere?
Yeah.
A little football talk.
Try to call
How about that going on here? More football action coming your way as the second half continues right after this.
Philadelphia Eagles lead the New York Giants at the half by the score of 7-6. Moments ago, the Eagles honored former running back Deuce Staley, officially retired as an Eagle, third leading rusher in team history, also a member of the Steelers Super Bowl championship club. So congratulations on a great career, Deuce Staley. The second half coming up. We get ready for the second half in Philadelphia with the Eagles leading the Giants 7-6. Kenny Albert along with Darryl Johnston and Tony Siragusa. Eagles scored on the first possession of the game. Giants with 2 second-quarter field goals. Ahmad Bradshaw, Reuben Drones back deep. David Akers on his 33rd birthday begins the second half. Kickoff taken at the 5 by Ahmad Bradshaw. Cuts to his right. And Bradshaw finally tackled at the 24-yard line. So the Giants offense out onto the field. A couple of good drives in the second quarter for Eli Manning and the New York Giants.
Yeah, it's a tale of 2 quarters in the first half. Philadelphia comes out on the opening drive and is very efficient in everything they do. And you heard Howie and Jimmy talk about it at halftime. From that point on, though, only 1 for 6 on third down conversion. So no continuity to the offense in the first half. And there's a look at the numbers, and you can see first quarter yards, second quarter yards. So again, both teams being inconsistent. The Giants just finishing up with a better quarter in that first half.
Brandon Jacobs met by Quentin Michael. Brings him down at the line of scrimmage. On the other side, Darryl, the Eagles offensively gained more yards on their first drive than they did on all of their other drives in the first half combined.
And the only other drive that was really of any substance in that first half was one where they had to go for it on fourth down at their own 35 and a half, 36-yard line to get some extra downs there to get some more yards.
From the 25, off the play fake. Manning looking for Shockey. Quentin Michael broke it up.
I tell you, that's a pretty good start to this half for Quentin Michael. He makes a big hit on Brandon Jacobs, 6'4", 265 pounds, and then he's downfield running with one of the more athletic tight ends in the NFL, Jeremy Shockey, and makes a good play on the ball with his hand. Gets his right hand up in there so Jeremy Shockey can't make the catch.
Quentin Michael sat out the last 2 games due to a knee injury. Earlier this season, he replaced Sean Considine, who's out for the year. Third down and 10. Giants have to get to the 35 for a first down. Manning to Jacobs, incomplete. Jacobs was behind the line, so it's brought back by Mike Patterson on the game's first turnover.
Well, that's one of the things that Philadelphia has been unable to do this season is take the ball away. Brandon Jacobs catches, goes to turn upfield. Omar Gaither comes up, puts a hit on him, ball on the ground. Mike Patterson, very smart, very alert. Listen for the whistle. This is a bang-bang play, but there that ball is out loose. If you don't hear the whistle, scoop and try and score.
Yeah, the Giants players all stopped. There was no whistle. The defensive guy just kept going. That's why the turnover, and they got the run back.
Look at everybody from New York. David Deal, 66, is right there, not doing a whole lot. And you saw the Eagle defensive lineman coming in to scoop that ball.
Tom Coughlin will challenge the call on the field.
The Giants are challenging the ruling on the field of a catch and a fumble.
Omar Gaither with the hit on Brandon Jacobs, forcing the ball to come loose.
Sure looks like he's got possession. Catch secured. Omar Gaither, boom, ball out.
Ron Winter taking a look at the last play. It will either be a first and goal for the Eagles on the Giants 8, or the Giants will punt. Question is, did Brandon Jacobs have possession before the ball came loose? You no longer have to make what used to be called, Darryl, a football move. That terminology was taken out last year.
I think he definitely catches the ball and establishes possession.
Worst case scenario, there's not enough evidence to go and change what the call is.
After review, with 2 feet on the ground and the ball in his possession, the ball carrier turned. It is a fumble. The ruling on the field stands. First down, Philadelphia. The Giants are charged with a team timeout.
The other thing that doesn't factor into it, though, I mean, Brandon Jacobs, if you see his reaction afterwards, I mean, you know as a player that you don't have, you know, that was a fumble. Look at, he's the one Giant that really kind of, this is a potential turnover.
Giants' 9th turnover the last 3 games, and during that time, they have not forced any turnovers, so they are -9 the last 3 weeks.
And when they do it at terrible times. Against Minnesota, 3 taken back for touchdowns. Last week against Chicago, with an opportunity to score points, they're turning the ball over in the red zone.
On 1st and goal, the play blown dead.
False start. Offense number 79. The 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
That's on the left guard, Todd Hermans.
You just got to sit in there. Yeah, I mean, Andy's got to be frustrated. I mean, there's no excuse for that. I mean, pre-snap penalties, especially in the red zone. I don't care what the defense is doing. We saw the Giants' offensive line in the red zone. When Philadelphia's defense moved, they didn't do anything. And that's down, you know, inside the 2-yard line, where you could be, you know, in a position where all your weight is on your hands, and it's going to be hard to maintain your stance.
1st and goal from the Giants' 13. McNabb, for the first time today, is sacked. Guess who? Osi Umenyiora with his 7th sack of Donovan McNabb this season.
Nowhere to go with the ball. Osi Umenyiora, top right. Here he comes to the inside hard. You pass the game off. William Thomas comes outside to pick up the looper. Todd Hermans doesn't stay inside. Right now, if I'm the New York Giants, I start running more twists in games because these guys have been out of sync a little bit with their pickups.
Osi Umenyiora does a great job on that stunt of getting penetration, and that's when you knock those offensive linemen off. That's why he got the sack on that play.
On 2nd and goal from the 19, the slant to Kevin Curtis. And Curtis is tackled at the 11-yard line, a gain of 8. And for Kevin Curtis, his first reception today.
That was a nice tackle by Craig Dahl on that. There's your young guy in there making his first start in the NFL. Limits Kevin Curtis to a small gain.
Now 3rd and goal from the 11. McNabb looking for the tight end, L.J. Smith. So the Eagles had 1st and goal on the Giants' 8. A penalty, a sack, and now David Akers and the field goal unit will come on.
Yeah, but we've talked about Brian Westbrook and his ability in pass protection. He's got Kavika Mitchell out there. He just takes them all the way back. I mean, he's great to watch in the open field with the football in his hands, but you see a lot of good stuff when he's away from the play, too. That's what makes him a special player as a running back.
This a 29-yard attempt from the left hash. Akers' kick is good. But the Giants hold the Eagles to 3 following the turnover. 10-6 Philadelphia. Good job by the Giants defense after the fumble by Brandon Jacobs. Eagles had 1st and goal from the Giants' 8. They were held to a field goal.
That's huge when your defense come out and do that. There's a big difference today, you know. Touchdowns as opposed to field goals, whether it's on turnovers. But I mean, to start the second half and give your opposition the ball 1st and goal at the 8 and come out and play the way that defense did, that was a great job by that 11.
Nice return by Amon Bradshaw, the rookie out of Marshall, who brings it out to the 38-yard line before he was finally tackled by the rookie out of Nebraska, Stuart Bradley. A 36-yard return by Bradshaw.
Well, the Giants special teams has seen something in the Eagles coverage units, because they're trying to kick him into the boundary inside the numbers and the sideline, and they're taking it out to the wide side of the field every time. And we saw R.W. McQuarters on a long punt return challenge the lanes by the Eagles coverage team. So they've seen something and feel they can be productive in special teams with their return group today.
Off the fake to Jacobs. Manning into Eagles territory for Burris. There's a penalty marker as Burris. Now 2 more flags come in. 4 flags on the field as Burris gains 16. And a Giants first down.
Rain and yellow down here, guys.
Two fouls on the play. Holding. Defense number 26. Delay a game. Number 17 offense. By rule, those penalties offset. Repeat. First down.
You just got to keep your composure a little bit. Lito Shepherd's going to get called for the hold beyond the 5 yards. Now Plaxico Burress goes in, makes the catch. Lito's upset. So he goes ahead and spikes the ball.
Here's Jacobs out across the 40.
That was a weak spike there, Moose.
Well,
I don't know if that was called.
They gave it to you in the beginning of the season, Tony. You know what the rule is. You know how they're going to call it. You can't defend anybody in that situation.
At least the play was dead at that point. Remember at Pittsburgh, as a Steeler, Burris once spiked the ball and it was a live ball. It was not touchdown.
Yeah. Just watching Trent Cole from down here. This guy is all over the field. Pass rushing, moving, getting a lot of pressure for the Eagles.
Cole had 6 tackles and 2 sacks in the first half, Tony. Second down and 7. Manning looking for Burris downfield. And it's broken up by Dawkins. As Burris limps back to the huddle.
We talked about Trent Cole earlier. Here he is. Matched up, still getting pressure. When he goes to the bull rush, still in Manning's face like that. Even though he doesn't get to him, he does go and affect the throw a little bit. Eli knows he's there.
Brian Dawkins comes over from his safety spot. Little help on the outside. Almost comes down with an interception.
3rd down and 7. Giants have to get to the 47. Manning moving to his right, throws, and a diving attempt incomplete. Pass intended for Amani Toomer.
It's sitting right there, Tony. It's sitting out there for one of these teams to take control of this game. I mean, in the first quarter, back and forth, one good quarter by the Eagles, one good quarter by the Giants. You come out here in the 3rd quarter, the Giants give the Eagles an opportunity to take control here in the 3rd quarter. They can't do it. The momentum is just sitting out there, Goose.
Yeah, it's not going in any direction, either way. One of these guys got to go and grab it, like you said, Moose, and take it.
Beagles punting from his own 30. Fair catch back at the 18-yard line. Called for by Mahe. Couple of passes downfield. Dawkins the coverage on Burris. And then a diving attempt by Toomer. For the latest in fantasy stats, log on to FoxSports.com. Nice run by Westbrook out of bounds at the 24 after gaining 5.
And the Giants, the receivers are starting to get a little frustrated on the sideline, but competitive guys are always going to feel like they're open. Plaxico Burress, I think he feels like he's being held, he's being bumped. He's working out there. Jeremy Shockey, same way. He's been very quiet this afternoon.
The Giants offense that has not reached the end zone today. They had 1st and goal from the 1 in the 2nd quarter. Settled for a field goal. Westbrook out to the 26-yard line. So the Eagles now facing a 3rd down and 3.
And the Giants have adjusted well to Brian Westbrook. I mean, since that opening drive, early in the game, Brian Westbrook, he was averaging 12 yards a touch his first few touches a game. And since that point, they've really done a good job of keeping him in check. He's averaging less than 5 yards a touch now. One of the big differences in this offense kind of bogging down a little bit for the Eagles.
McNabb on 3rd and 3. It's Curtis for a 1st down. Evan Curtis gains 6 out to the 32-yard line.
You know, Moose, going into halftime, I did talk to Andy Reid, and I asked him why, you know, you got 2 rookies back there in the secondary with Dahl and Johnson. Why don't you go and attack them a little more? He said, well, we tried to attack them. We had a little bit of pressure up front. The timing just wasn't there, but we need to do more of that in the second half. So I'm going to be watching for that down here.
1st and 10 from the 32. Play action. McNabb's pass intended for Reggie Brown. As we check in with Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles. Kurt?
Well, guys, the Green Bay Packers clinched the NFC North with a victory today over Oakland. It looks like it might be easy pickings. This is Favre, 80 yards on the score. Perfect timing there to Greg Jennings. And they lead it 24-7 in the 3rd quarter. Back to Philly and Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
All right, Kurt. And guys, we will be in St. Louis for the Packers and the Rams next week. And Brett Favre could very well eclipse Dan Marino's all-time record for career passing yardage.
That was one of those numbers that when Dan Marino set that record that you never thought anybody would ever come close to.
Ball start. Offense number 67. 5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
That's on the center, Jamal Jackson. And Tony, I know you were usually on the field whenever Marino broke records back in his glory days, and you'll be on the field next week when Favre passes Marino.
I'll tell you what, I was at every one of them. I think every time Dan Marino broke a record, it was against the team that I was playing for, whether it was the Colts, mostly the Colts, or the Ravens. But
2nd and 15 following the penalty. McNabb complete Brown. Tony, I know you loved whenever they wheeled out the podium and stopped the game. Honor Dan Marino.
Yeah, that was great at a home field. Craig Kelly, our PR director there at the Colts, it was great. They would put a nice big stand there, and he would come out, and all our fans would clap. It was great. It was awesome. Really gave us a lot of drive there on defense, and going a lot of confidence. Hey, Dan Marino breaks another record against the Colts. Awesome.
Nothing more motivating to a team than celebrating your opponent's records.
Yeah, why not just pass out Dan Marino pitches and just hold them up?
It's nice to see Tony has gotten over it.
I'll never get over that, Kenny. Never get over that.
McNabb on 3rd and 11. It is deflected and then nearly picked off by a diving Kevin Dockery.
But again, Tony, he's showing a lot more ability to make people miss in the pocket. I mean, he's got Craig Dahl, he's going to come right up the gut on the blitz. Comes from depth. He's free and clear. And just a nice little wiggle right there to avoid that. We had not seen that from Donovan McNabb in the games prior to this one.
Trav Rocca punting from his own 20. Good kick. And the corner's brought down just shy of the 30 by the long snapper, John Dornbos, a 53-yard punt. So the Giants trailing by 4. Back on offense when we return. Back in Philadelphia, Eagles lead the Giants 10-6. As we check out the Giants' offensive leaders. Giants go back to work from their own 30-yard line. Manning backpedaling. Pass was deflected. Intended for the fullback, Madison Hedgecock.
Looks like Eli Manning's a little frustrated with all the pressure that this Eagles defense is bringing, and You know, the lack of time he's having to go and set up and look for his receivers downfield, guys.
How do you know when Eli looks frustrated?
I don't know, I think it's the shake of the head. You know, you really can't tell from the facial expressions when he just shakes that head really slightly.
They could be winning by 25 right now, and that's what Eli would look like. That's what he looks like when he comes to talk to us. That's what he looks like at Christmas morning. That's what Eli Manning's going to look like.
I think even the offensive line, we met with Chris Snee also. When he came in, he sort of had the Eli demeanor. And I think it's catching on.
Third down and 13. Giants have to get to the 40. Manning steps up. He's wrapped up. Throws it away. Mike Patterson. And Eli Manning in his grasp. And the Giants once again forced to punt.
Well, it looks like it's going to be the question of which offense steps up first to make a play, because these defenses are really starting to hit their stride. Getting pressure with Floor, Tony. Both edge rushers forcing to step up in the pocket. Mike Patterson's there waiting for him.
Jeff Fagles punting from his own 18. Fair catch at the 38. Reno Mahe. Why can't we be friends? That's what Jon Runyan wanted to know when he met Michael Strahan at the Pro Bowl about 5 years ago.
Well, he was coming at it from a different angle. If I cozy up to him, and maybe we hit it off and we enjoy each other's company, he won't make it so hard on me next season twice a year.
I think if Michael Strahan just signed a new contract, maybe he was looking for free food or some drinks, maybe. Runyan.
On 1st and 10 from the 39, Westbrook fumbles. Westbrook lost the football and popped right into the hands of Sam Madison.
The Giants have done a great job on the screens this afternoon. The one touchdown to Brian Westbrook, and since that point, they have really defended him well. Now they get a turnover generated off the way they played the screen. It's like Barry Colefield. I don't know if it was Barry Colefield or
like Tuck.
Was it Tuck coming from the inside?
Tuck went and punched it right out.
That's the first fumble by Westbrook, guys. His last 557 touches. He almost never fumbles.
A nugget.
First turnover by the Eagles today. Manning complete to the tight end Michael Matthews, gains 2 to the Eagles 35.
Here's one of the things that the Eagles defense does to you that I still try and figure it out. You've got pressure coming, so you're throwing hot, you're getting the ball out quick, but everything is covered. You're going to get your pressure coming in from this side. So, we got to throw it hot. So you throw it hot, and there's the corner sitting right there. Jim Johnson does such a good job of finding out when you're going to be hot and then make sure his coverage is in a position to get a hit on you.
The play blown dead. Penalty markers prior to the snap.
False start. Offense number 80. The 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
It's on Shockey.
He knows it's on him too. A little smile there. Trying to get off, catch that little edge.
Brian Dawkins not in the game. He's being treated for cramps. Second down at 13. Rogelio Hansen in for Brian Dawkins. Manning with time. He fires to a wide open Amani Toomer, who lost the football. The Eagles have it back. Tom Coughlin thought Toomer was down. Coughlin has one challenge left.
He's reaching for it, or he's calling up for his guys up in the booth to get him an idea whether he was down. I think he's right.
Ruling on the
I don't
field.
know. No.
Is that the runner was down by contact.
Well, now Andy Reid should challenge this. Watch Lito Shepherd come in, right? There. It's coming out before he's down. Now Andy Reid's got to throw it. They had it right the first time. It's actually Lito Shepherd who gets a hand on it, knocks it loose before he's on the ground. There you go.
There you go. Andy threw that out with authority, too.
Wow, what a toss.
That was halfway across the field.
That could be the farthest challenge flag this season. I mean, it's almost to the hash.
I should go out and measure it. You gonna get a tape measure? That was far.
Okay, watch right here. Lito Shepherd, the contact, it's coming out right now. Is the okay, go back and let's see the elbow. Roll it back a little bit. We're going to commercial. We'll catch it on the way back.
So there must be conclusive visual evidence that the ball was knocked loose before Tuma was down.
Protection down by contact.
Lost control and then he regained, no?
Amani Toomer involved in a key replay challenge for the second consecutive week. It was initially ruled a fumble, then the officials said that Toomer was down by contact, so Andy Reid has challenged the play.
It is really, really close. Does that elbow touch the ground before he loses control of the ball? I think he's losing control right as contact is made, and his elbow is not down yet. But I think this is a judgment call by the officials. I mean, it's that close. I think it's a fumble. Andy doesn't think he's going to get it.
After review, the runner with his ball in his possession is contacted on the ground. Therefore, it is down by contact. The ruling on the field stands.
See, I don't know
Philadelphia's charged with a timeout.
the explanation.
First and 10 on the 20-yard line.
He wasn't contacted when he was on the ground. I mean, I would be okay if the official came back and said his elbow is down before he loses possession. Play stands as called down by contact. But to come out and say he was contacted when he was down on the ground, that's what would frustrate me, is because I've yet to see that.
Ron Winter is referring to the second time the ball got knocked loose by Quentin Michael. Not the initial elbow from Shepherd. So the call stands. A break for the Giants. Eagles lose a challenge and a timeout. First and 10 from the Eagles 20. Manning gets rid of it. Burris inside the 5 to the end zone. Touchdown.
Well, there's something you're going to be talking about all day Monday in New York and Philadelphia, depending how this game finishes up. I mean, that was a critical challenge play. The next play, I mean, it could be first and 10 Philadelphia at the spot, but instead, it's Giants touchdown.
You have 8 guys on the line of scrimmage. Eli does a great job of relaying to his offensive line where he wants his protection, and he knows where his heart is with Plexico. Great communication between the line and Eli.
So the Giants capitalize following the Westbrook fumble. And the New York Giants have their first lead today.
Well, Tony talked about the pressure that Philadelphia was bringing, so you've got one-on-one on the outside. Quick slant. Boy, Sheldon Brown. Big cushion. They've got the right route called. That was an easy one right there.
Tenth touchdown reception of the season for Burris. He scored 8 in the first 6 games. Only his second touchdown the last 7 weeks.
How tough is this guy? I mean, watching him in pregame, if you were to tell me he was going to score a touchdown on a quick slant, that he was going to be able to work against press coverage all day and run speed cut routes, there's no way. He can't do that. I saw him pregame.
Andy Reid took a chance. Really had to challenge that.
Yeah, you had to. It was that close, and I still don't agree with the description. I don't know. I mean, I thought it was a lot closer, but the way they described it makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Terrell Buckhalter bobbled the kickoff. And is tackled at the 24-yard line by David Tyree.
We'll go back and take a look at Plaxico before the game, and just so you can see what he's been able to accomplish this afternoon. I mean, he left the field early. All his teammates are still out on the field during pregame. I mean, he's going in to get retaped. We saw him retaped on the sideline here. I mean, his performance today is extremely impressive. If you saw the amount of pain he was in pregame.
And has been in throughout the season. So the Eagles start from their own 24-yard line. Good coverage downfield, and McNabb is sacked for the second time. Barry Cofield with his first sack of the season.
That's exactly what you call a coverage sack. Donovan had the time to look downfield, but those young guys back there for the Giants doing a great job of covering those receivers.
Yeah, we looked at it as an opportunity for Philadelphia's offense, and the fact that they have been unable to do it. And, you know, I know that you talked to Andy at halftime, Tony, and he said, well, we're getting a little bit of pressure. We don't feel confident we can get the ball off in time. But you got to give it up for Craig Dahl and Michael Johnson. They have done a good job of solidifying a spot that we felt could be a vulnerability for that Giants defense.
2nd and 17. The catch is made by the tight end Smith. Out at the 25, so a 3rd and 9 coming up. Smith went in to have x-rays on his ribs in the first half, and he remains down.
And that's when, I mean, the opposition called for that one. Antonio Pierce was calling the people out from the Philadelphia sideline. And that's never a good sign.
Holding his right knee. Missed games earlier this season due to a groin injury. We mentioned the rib injury earlier today. It's been a tough season for L.J. Smith.
Oh.
Got caught underneath Aaron Ross.
Yeah, a pain goes up my backbone when I see stuff like that.
Now you'll see the Giant players right now. I mean, it's actually Sam Madison's going to call to the Eagles sideline to get the training staff out.
That's a good sign, seeing him walk off the field on his own power there.
Well, that's a good sign, though, but, I mean, are you sure? Because, I mean, William Floyd, the fullback for the 49ers, who played when I played, had hurt his knee and walked off the field, didn't want to be carted off the field, ended up doing some more damage to the knee going off. And we had Terrell Owens against the Dallas Cowboys when he was with Philadelphia. And he got the horse collar tackle and walked off the sideline, walked up the tunnel, and ended up being a broken fibula. So you hope he's okay. I mean, I hope LJ's okay, but you got to be smart in that situation also. You can't let that ego get in the way that, hey, I don't want to be carted off the field.
4th down and 9. McNabb in trouble. He escapes. And he goes down at the 29-yard line. So the Eagles once again forced to punt.
We're talking about Donovan McNabb and his ability to move and scramble around the pocket. I mean, right here, it looks like he's going to be tackled for a 10-yard loss, but no knee brace. His ankle banged up a little bit. He just goes and gets away, gets positive yardage. I'm telling you, he's getting better. I think that 2 weeks off really helped him.
Rocca punting from his own 20.
Well, he's
kicking away from the corners who had a big return earlier.
Yeah, he's kicked pretty good today. He had a tough week last week against Seattle, but they needed for Saab to have a good kick there.
Just under 4 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter. Giants by 3. Thursday night on Fox at 8, 7 Central. Join Jeff Foxworthy and his formidable class of 5th graders for an all-new Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader? Thursday at 8, 7 Central. All new, only on Fox.
You know, Moose, my daughter's in 5th grade, and she comes home with some questions, and I'm like, oh, I don't know the answers to them. These kids these days, the answers, especially watching that show, they just pop them right out. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I was hoping it was going to be like 7th grade before I had to get tutors in the house, but I think it might be a little bit sooner.
Manning to Burris, he breaks 3. Plaxico Burris inside the 25, finally tackled at the 23-yard line after gaining 41 yards.
And it's got to be one of the most painful routes for Plaxico to run because it's going to be a hard in cut. Right there. I mean, you see all the wiggle at the top of that route. I'm so impressed by his performance today, having watched him warm up pregame. He's making catches that are not, I mean, these are not well-thrown balls. Plaxico's gone all over the place to catch these balls. He's not catching them in stride on the fly very easily. Making some nice yards after the catch.
Burris over 100 yards for the third time this season. Here's Brandon Jacobs running hard. Finally tackled at the 16. He gained 8. As we check in with Curt Menefee. Curt?
Well, some hard running and a lot of running by the Detroit Lions. Kevin Jones takes it in against Dallas. His second touchdown of the game. They lead at 27-14, and Moose Hill like this. First 50 plays by Detroit, 26 runs, only 24 passes.
Ah, he stayed with it this week, Curt.
How about the Lions, who beat the Cowboys in the final game of the regular season last year?
Well, I think a lot of people thought that the Lions, you know, with a great 6-2 start, boy, you look at who they had down the stretch, it was going to be tough. Some people thinking they might lose their last 8 games.
Jacobs picks up a first down. Now, if the Giants win and the Cowboys lose, Giants would be 2 behind Dallas in the win column with 3 games remaining. But remember, the Cowboys beat the Giants twice.
Yeah, the Giants are going to win the NFC East. I mean, I feel very confident saying that right now. You know, the Giants are playing for the first wild card spot. They need to take care of business, keep doing well on the road. This is a divisional game in Philly's backyard. They've come in here. They haven't been great, but they've hung in. They've made plays when they had to. They've put together some drives.
Manning on first and goal to the end zone off the fingertips of Shockey.
One-on-one on the outside. Quentin Michael comes up to get the jam. It's a little bit late getting there. Jeremy Shockey gets a good release off the line of scrimmage. Eli puts it out to the outside. Just can't pull it in.
Right there, that signal means my fault, my fault.
Second and goal. Jacobs in the backfield from the 7. Here's Jacobs inside the 5, down to the 4, tackled by Dawkins and Spikes.
Coach Coughlin heard you, Kenny. Got drones on the side. He's got Brandon Jacobs out there this time.
Giants had first and goal from the 1 in the second quarter. They ran drones twice, could not get in. Now third and goal from just inside the 5. Giants look to add to their lead. Shockey in the slot. Manning out of the shotgun. Manning to the end zone, incomplete behind Burris. Sheldon Brown on the coverage. Giants send out the field goal unit.
You just keep a team in the game. I mean, Philadelphia's defense, and Jim Johnson has always taken a lot of pride in the fact that his defense is very hard to score on. You get into the red zone, they're going to force you to kick field goals. They're always near the top of the NFL in points per game given up. And that has been the key this afternoon because New York has been down here quite a bit. They've forced them to kick field goals. You're still just a play away. And we've seen how explosive Philadelphia can be when everything starts to click.
23-yard attempt, Tynes from the left hash. Lawrence Tynes now 3 for 3 today, extending the Giants' lead to 16-10. Here in Philadelphia, Giants trailed 7-0. They now lead the Philadelphia Eagles 16-10. Giants have been in the red zone 4 times. Only 1 touchdown.
Yeah, we saw that against Detroit about 3 weeks ago. I mean, New York did a really good job controlling the flow of that entire game. But again, they get down to the red zone, they're kicking field goals. All of a sudden, Detroit's offense wakes up late in that 4th quarter, and they almost steal one from the Giants in the last 4.5 minutes because New York didn't take care of business when they had opportunities in the red zone. And this opening drive by this Eagles, they went right down the field. They've got big play guys on that offense. You don't want them hanging around. It's a 1-possession game right now.
J.R. Reed on the return. Tackled by Ahmad Bradshaw at the 22. Eagles on that opening drive, Darrell, marched 68 yards downfield in the 8 possessions since, a grand total of 86 yards.
They have been making Donovan McNabb work for everything. And right now, I think that there may be an overreaction by this Eagles offense to, hey, we got to make sure we've got our protection. Tony mentioned the fact that we haven't attacked the middle of the field because we're concerned about the pressure. Well, right now, they're only getting 3 wide receivers out on a lot of these routes, which is not what this Eagles offense is about. It's about multiple guys out and multiple options for Donovan McNabb.
First and 10 from the 22. Westbrook cuts to his right. And Westbrook picks up a first down, gains 11 before he was finally tackled by Craig Dahl.
That's a great job by Kevin Curtis. He's the wide receiver on the backside of a run away. And he puts himself, he's not doing a great job. Kevin Curtis is all the way out here. The ball's going to bounce all the way back to him. And he's in a position to get an effective block to let Brian Westbrook get back inside. Look at him working. Most guys wouldn't be working that hard when you're that far outside away from the play, but you understand that it's Brian Westbrook. When he has the ball in his hand, it could wind all the way back to me.
So a nice job by Curtis. Third quarter comes to an end. Giants with a 6-point lead. Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages. Giants lead 16-10. We start the fourth quarter. Eagles from their own 32-yard line. Westbrook bounces into the outside. First down and more. Brian Westbrook into Giants territory. A gain of 20 yards.
I tell you what, it's so fun to watch him move, and it's effortless. I mean, really, watch this on the out. I mean, there's no wasted motion in that cut. And Kevin Dockery's coming inside out. He can just feel that he's going to overplay that. And it's just smooth, little back inside. He's fun to watch.
Just when you think he's going to be tackled for a 5-yard loss, he has a 15-yard gain, Moose.
Eagles in Giants territory from the New York 47. Reggie Brown still on his feet. And Sam Madison finally brings him down after a gain of 5 as we head west to Curtin.
Cowboys 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. No fullback. Marion Barber says no problem. His 3rd touchdown of the game. 2 rushing, 1 receiving. Still, his Cowboys are down by 6 at Detroit. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Again, we'll go back to the outside. Reggie Brown trying his luck on the outside now. He made one too many, though, right now. I'm going to cut back one more time. Oh, there's Sam Madison chasing it down.
Second down and 5, Westbrook. Westbrook close to another first down. It will depend on the spot. Eagles just short. So a 3rd and 1 coming up. Eagles trailing the Giants by 6. Eagles without L.J. Smith. And tight end suffered a knee injury in the 3rd quarter. Westbrook. Terrific effort by the Giants defense. Remember, our yellow line is unofficial. And it did not look like Westbrook crossed that yellow line.
This has been an Achilles heel for the Eagles this afternoon. When they've gotten into these 3rd and short situations. We already saw them go for it on 4th and short at their own 35 in the first quarter for the first half.
You know he's going to go for it again, right, Moose?
Well, I mean, if you went for that one, it was 7-0 Philadelphia. I mean, nothing to gain, everything to lose, and he went for it. So yeah, this is an easy one for Andy. Andy should just, you don't even have to bring him out because I'm going anyways. You don't have to show me how short I am.
The yellow line is unofficial, right, Kenny?
Unofficial, Tony. Remember what happened to Donovan McNabb on the last 4th down play, the quarterback sneak.
Well, he got roughed up. He got his helmet taken off. Got an elbow in the top of the head.
Yeah, Donovan does not want this play right now. He got his helmet ripped off, like you said, Moose. It was a painful first down last time they ran that quarterback sneak.
I put Westbrook on the outside. Give him a little bit of an option. Don't give him that downhill one right over the tackle. Give him something where he's got some opportunity to duck inside, sprint, bounce it outside. I don't like split backs there. Thank goodness.
Westbrook split to the left, and it's McNabb on the sneak.
Well, he kept his helmet on this time. That's a plus.
Well, Brian Westbrook goes out in motion, so now you've got Thomas DePay in the backfield by himself and Donovan McNabb. So you're 1 of 2. You're going to slip it to the fullback, which they did earlier. But you know you're going to a certain area of the field. Oh, fudge.
Westbrook. Ryan saying the ball came loose, but Westbrook was down. Deuce Staley on it at halftime. I wasn't sure if the fans were chanting Deuce, Moose, or Goose, although...
Kenny, we're in Philadelphia.
Well, judging by the reaction, Darryl, that you got during our last break, I know they were not chanting Moose.
No.
Everybody, we got to tell everybody. We were up there and I heard Darryl go, "Come on up here, get up here." I thought he was calling, get like the popcorn or something. But the people were going crazy up there. Darryl was pulling out the jewelry, saying, "You ain't got one of these." Got a lot of friends here in Philadelphia, Moose, huh?
Oh, they love me here. They love me here. It actually had been good the last few times. I don't know what it is. I guess they're just not in the holiday spirit yet. But I've got about 3 of them down here in the front row. There's 1 over there, and then there's 2 over that way that are just unbelievable. Every
big
brand.
Big fans.
Oh, God. Man, it's been 8 years. I haven't played in 8 years. I like your organization.
Well, you have your brother-in-law who's a Philadelphia native with you for protection.
I got to get some of my boys up there.
Send some of the guys up here, Bruce. You got enough down on the sideline. You're just eating crab fingers and stuff. Give me some guys up here.
Bruce and his entourage. 3rd down and 2. Penalty flag. Movement prior to the snap. And Tom Coughlin not happy.
Offside. Defense number 43 in the neutral zone for snaps. 5-yard penalty that results in a first down.
It's on the safety, Michael Johnson.
Well, we've talked about the struggles with Philadelphia in 3rd and short. You don't want to give them a freebie. So, I mean, yeah, Tom Coughlin is starting to get frustrated. You just got to be a little bit better with your timing. He's in a good position because he's going to beat Matt Schobel across the face. But just those little things, the attention to details. We've talked about how well Craig Dahl and Michael Johnson have played at the safety position. Young guys. Michael Johnson's very aggressive. Just has to have a little bit better timing when he's bringing that blitz.
Automatic first down for the Eagles. Westbrook tackled by Kavika Mitchell, but not before he gains 4 yards.
Well, you work hard to put him in that position. You've got the right defense called. Your guy's going to make the play, but he just jumps the snap a little bit. So
Johnson was called for a key penalty a couple of weeks ago against Dallas. Tom Coughlin not happy at the time, but after the game he said, "I don't want to take away Johnson's aggressiveness."
Absolutely. That's something you can't coach, and with an overreaction to a penalty, you can take it away, though.
McNabb on 2nd and 6, a pump fake. Can't find anyone downfield. And he's brought down at the 22-yard line by the rookie out of Penn State, Jay Alford.
Well, Donovan is doing a good job of avoiding pressure and extending the play. Tony's talked about how this has been the best he's seen him, but there's just nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go on on some of these throws. Curtis is on the other side of the field. Donovan's moving to his right, so now Kevin's got to try and get all the way across the field. The one guy who was open quick was to the other side of the field. He's out of Donovan McNabb's line of vision.
First NFL sack for Alford, 3rd down and 8. Giants with 3 sacks in the game. McNabb pump fakes, moves to his right, throws, incomplete, bounces away from Westbrook.
Reggie Brown's at the top. See how he's covered. He's got Kavika Mitchell right below him. There's what happens later on the play. The other side of the field, Kevin Curtis. We'll see if he gets open again. Sam Madison's right on him. There's Craig Dahl. I mean, Donovan McNabb just has nowhere to go with these passes.
So David Akers out to attempt a 39-yard field goal from the right hash. A kick by Akers straight through. So with 8:26 remaining in the 4th quarter here in Philadelphia, the Eagles pull to within 3. Giants lead the Eagles 16-13. 8.5 remaining, 4th quarter here in Philadelphia. Ahmad Bradshaw, Reuben Drones back deep for the Giants. Akers kickoff taken by Bradshaw at the 10. And Bradshaw stopped just shy of the 30 by Akeem Jordan. Another close game for the Giants on the road. They are 4-0 in games decided by 7 points or less. All 4 of those games away from home. Eagles 2-4 in similar spots.
Unbelievable. And some of the games, the way they've lost those games, really all in their hands. I mean, not one of those victories was taken away by the other team. Just miscues by the Eagles at critical times.
Brandon Jacobs gaining 2 yards on 1st down. Giants with 2 second-quarter field goals. They scored their only touchdown following a rare Brian Westbrook fumble in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, that's I haven't seen that. Well, 500 and what?
557 touches without a fumble.
That's amazing. And especially for a guy, I mean, like, he is such a focal point of the offense. There's so many opportunities for that ball to come loose. Done a tremendous job throughout his career.
2nd down and 8. Here's Jacobs. Jacobs out to the 33-yard line. Lions still leading the Cowboys. Just over 6 minutes remaining in Detroit. Tampa Bay with a chance to clinch the division, trailing Houston 28-14. Third down and 6. Giants have to get to the 39 for a 1st down. Looked like Jaquay Thomas jumped.
Yeah, but I mean, he got back. They're going to call it on Philly? Wow.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 75. Moving in the neutral zone to cause the offense to false start. A 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
I think the movement by Kareem McKenzie has to be immediate. Now he's jumping back. That's too delayed. That's too delayed. That is not neutral zone infraction. You got to be moving the exact same time that Jaquay Thomas is in the neutral zone. He actually made you move, but he's going backwards to reset, and then you move. I don't like that call. I thought that was a bad call.
I agree.
3rd down and 1 following the penalty. Manning to the air. 1st down, Burris. Burris inside the 35. Finally forced out of bounds by Dawkins. 31 yards from Eli Manning to Plaxico Burris.
Eagles aren't doing a good job at all after the catch of securing the tackle. Watch Dawkins. It's Sheldon Brown right here. All right, he catches the ball, but you got to go and make the tackle.
He was so late getting back to that play, Tony.
Man.
Imagine if Burris were healthy.
Oh,
Look at his numbers. 7 catches, 136 yards, and the Giants' only touchdown today. Brandon Jacobs up the middle. Jacobs still on his feet, finally tackled. He lost the football.
I don't know. I think he was down, Moose.
It's ruled Eagles football.
I'm going to go with you, Goose. I'm like 0 for 2 in this game.
Yeah, I think he was down.
Tom Coughlin does have one challenge remaining.
What a great effort up until that point by Brandon Jacobs. We saw Plaxico Burris on the last play, spin out of a tackle and get down the field for some extra yardage. Brandon Jacobs just running over Philadelphia Eagle defenders on this run.
It is ruled Eagles football. We'll check out the replays.
It's Juquay Thomas again. That ball is coming out long before.
Wow, it's out.
Definitely came out.
Great hustle by your defensive end all the way down the field.
Brandon Jacobs with 2 turnovers today. And the Eagles get the ball back. Under 6 minutes remaining, they trail by 3. Starting from their own 5-yard line. McNabb fires the slant. And the catch is made by the tight end, Matt Schobel, for a gain of 9.
Well, another big play in this game, and it's a hustle play, this time by Juquay Thomas. Here he is. Look where he is on this run. This run is going to come in here and wind all the way downfield. Watch 75, breaking tackles. Everybody's letting Brandon Jacobs run. A great hustle play. Now, remember, in the beginning of the game, we had a great hustle play by Brian Dawkins.
Brian Westbrook, first down and more. Out to the 27-yard line before he's finally tackled by Michael Johnson.
And here's a play in the beginning of the game that's really kept this a one-possession game. Reuben Drones on a 3rd and short breaks through. There's nobody there. Brian Dawkins hustles all the way from the opposite side of the field to tackle him at the 2. The Giants had to settle for a field goal there, so they gave up 4 points. So 2 big hustle plays by the Eagles defense today.
And remember, Thomas had been called for the penalty moments earlier. McNabb on first down to Kevin Curtis. And Curtis picks up another Eagles first down. Gain of 13 with 4.5 remaining.
Well, Andy Reid just got to find out what happens to his team in between, that great opening drive and when they have to score at the end of a game, because they sat around and did virtually nothing offensively everywhere in between a great opening drive, and now that they're pressed to have to go down and score and win the game.
From the 40, it's Westbrook. Westbrook over 100 yards on the ground as he picks up another first down, a gain of 12 into New York Giants territory.
If you're a young guy that's a running back, I want you to watch Brian Westbrook. He's not going full speed when he gets the ball. He's under control. Then when he sees where he wants to go, now I go full speed. You have patience to the hole, and then you explode through it. Brian Westbrook is one of the best I've seen at that. He is never pressing so hard, so if something's not there, he can adjust and get himself back into where the running lane has showed itself.
From the 48 on first down, Buckhalter. And Corral able to gain 5 yards down to the 43. Keep in mind, the last 2 years in the regular season, these teams have gone to overtime here in Philadelphia in both 2005 and 2006.
We're heading for it now.
Second down and 5. 3 minutes to play. 4th quarter. McNabb hands it off to Westbrook. Westbrook down to the Giants 41.
Michael Strahan does a great job of recognizing plays. Watch on this play. If you watch Michael Strahan, he goes and he points exactly where the ball's run. Again, run the play. It was a little bit before that. But he knows exactly. He's overplaying him to the outside, makes Brian Westbrook go and cut to the inside where he knows his linebackers are going to be. He studies a lot of film, Michael Strahan, and knows where the ball's going all the time.
I think he's picked up a few things from Jon Runyan over the years.
Man, them two guys know each other's like books.
And we mentioned earlier that Runyan befriended Strahan at the Pro Bowl a couple of years back. Strahan told us, I feel like Philadelphia initially acquired Runyan just to stop me.
Yeah, well, they've stopped themselves again. Again, another third down. They can't convert. Looking at a critical fourth down here for the Eagles.
This is a 2-minute warning.
A huge play coming up here in Philly. 2 minutes remaining for the Eagles. 4th down and 6 from the Giants' 43.
Yeah, 2 off-tackle runs on 2nd and 3rd down. Netted virtually nothing, so here's your ball game right here.
Eagles have to get to the 38 to move the chains. McNabb out of the shotgun. McNabb fires, and it is broken up by Antonio Pierce. The intended receiver, Jason Avant, wanted a flag. Eagles do not convert on 4th down. It's Pierce, who is questionable with an ankle injury, who makes the play with 1:57 on the clock.
Oh, that was close.
Yeah. He's there a little bit early. But you know what? Even if he catches this, he doesn't have enough yards for the 1st down, I don't think. I don't think he ran it to the right depth. Brandon Jacobs happy. He's the guy that put the ball on the ground that gave the Eagles this opportunity.
Eagles have 2 timeouts remaining. Giants lead by 3. 1:57 to play, 4th quarter. Here's Jacobs, who has fumbled twice today. Jacobs gains 2. Eagles call a timeout. They have 1 remaining. The many faces and emotions of Giants head coach Tom Coughlin. Giants lead by 3. Now, if the Giants run a play and then the Eagles use their final timeout, and then they stop the Giants on 3rd down, the Eagles would most likely get the ball back with about 1 minute on the clock. Jacobs takes it up to the 49. And with 1:47 remaining, the Eagles use their final timeout. Giants will have a 3rd down and 5 following the timeout. Big day for Plaxico Burress.
Unbelievable, because before this game today, I watched him just in warm-ups. You know, no pads on or anything. Looked like he was in a lot of pain coming in and out of his cuts. Left the field early during pregame, went into the locker room ahead of his teammates. So you're wondering, well, how much of a factor is he going to play today? And we've seen him really struggle with this injury the last 3 weeks. He's been battling it all season long. He comes out here today and just has a great game. There he goes into the locker room. The rest of his teammates are on the field finishing up pregame. You can see right there the way he's jogging. I mean, this is not a guy who come off press coverage, make hard cuts to the inside, speed cuts to the outside. He's come out and played his best game in the last 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks, battling through this injury.
Averaging 19 yards per reception today. If the Giants pick up a 1st down here, they will be able to run out the clock. Jacobs does not. Now the Giants will let the clock run down and then punt.
Until the Giants figure out how to cure some of these turnover problems, these are the types of games they're going to play. They're going to play a game like today's Philadelphia game, last week's Chicago game, the Detroit game 3 weeks ago. You know, the one against Minnesota was just a disaster for the Giants with all the turnovers returned for touchdowns. But this is going to be the MO of these games, and when it's a situation like this, that's what you're going to have Philadelphia do. Brian Westbrook almost brought him back last week against Seattle, and now we've got the Giants shifting into their normal offense.
Well, Eli told Ron Winter he wanted a timeout with the play clock at 1, and now the Giants will send out the punting unit. Last week, as you mentioned, Darryl, similar situation against Seattle. Eagles sent Westbrook out for the punt return, and he brought it back 64 yards, putting the Eagles in great position to score, but A.J. Feely was intercepted for the 4th time in the game. Both Giants fans and Eagle fans remember Westbrook's game-winning punt return touchdown against the Giants back in 2003. So the Eagles will get the ball back here. They have no timeouts remaining. They need at least a field goal. Feagles angling it towards the sidelines. Westbrook has it at the 3, and he is out of bounds at the 11-yard line with 53 seconds remaining. Donovan McNabb and the Eagles will have one last chance.
What a heck of a punt by Jeff Feagles in that situation, because he really put Brian Westbrook in a tough spot. I mean, he had angled that kick so well that Brian Westbrook's got to make a play on it, because I don't think that's going into the end zone for a touchback.
Now, it looked like it was going to go out on a 1 or 2.
Yeah,
Bruce.
I mean, he put him between a rock and a hard place here. I mean, you're kind of thinking, why is the guy catching it at the 3-yard line? Well, you know, he didn't really have an option. I think that thing's going to go out at the 1. I don't think it's going in for a touchback.
Feagles the best ever at pinning the opponent inside the 20-yard line. So the Eagles start from their own 11. Final minute, 4th quarter, as McNabb fires, and the catch is made by Reggie Brown. A first down out of the 31. Eagles have to go about 35 more yards to get into field goal range for David Akers.
We better hurry up here.
Down to 30 seconds. McNabb, complete. Greg Lewis. At the 48, Eagles out of timeouts.
You got Sam Madison holding Brian Westbrook back 10 yards. I can't believe the officials didn't do anything. That's unbelievable.
And McNabb stops the clock with 12 seconds remaining.
Westbrook is going over to talk to the official right now.
Madison was boxing him out like a basketball player waiting for a rebound.
He's trying to say that Brian Westbrook's holding. Why would Brian Westbrook be holding you? That was unbelievable.
Now McNabb must complete a pass to the sidelines because the Eagles will not have enough time to get the field goal unit on with the clock running. To the outside, and Reggie Brown makes the catch out of bounds at the 39.
They still need more.
This will be about a 56 or 57-yard attempt.
Back in the day, David Akers might have given you a run with this one with a little bit of wind at his back. Tony, is there any help from the wind?
You know what? It's pretty stagnant down here. There's no wind at all. They're going to go for it, though. Akers is coming out. I mean, man.
His career long.
Lot of leg, man. A lot of leg for this one.
His career long, Tony, 57. And this a 57-yard attempt on David Akers' 33rd birthday from the right hash. Akers' kick is no good. Off the right upright.
I tell you what, though, David Akers, don't hang your head. Don't hang your head. I didn't think you had this kick in you. You hit it as well as you could hit it.
Wow. Man,
he had plenty. He had plenty on that.
Now the ball, the spotter, the holder, man, the ball was crooked when he kicked it. I think that was the difference in the kick right there.
Had he made the kick, Akers not only would have sent this game to overtime, he would have become the Eagles' all-time leading scorer. But Akers hit the right upright. And we have 1 second on the clock. Andy Reid chatting with the officials. Manning will take a knee, and the Giants win their 6th consecutive road game, something that they have not done since the early 60s. So for Darryl Johnston and Tony Siragusa, this is Kenny Albert saying